Good morning, everyone. We have Mr. Dhiraj Naik with us from Razorpay. So I would like to ask him about a few questions. How are you feeling regarding the event, sir?
First of all, thank you for having me here. So the event is really good. In fact, I have my leadership team here as well. We have been hearing quite insightful ideas about different leaders from the analytics space, their thought process, what are they thinking about from their own demo domains, what are the common problems they're trying to solve. Quite insightful to kind of also get a hands-on and what are some of the common problems that people are solving and some of the unique problems that folks are solving in their own domains, and gives you an idea. Right? Is this something that you should also be innovating? So yeah, definitely so far it has been a wonderful event.
Right.
I'm looking forward to hearing more.
Yes, sir. So we are talking about problem solving regarding Gen AI.
Right.
So do you think the problems are being solved in any niche market or any niche subject?
See, I've this is the most common question that I get every time. Gen AI as an entity is an evolving space at this point in time, right? Almost I think every other month there's new models coming out and people are exploring, right? And it's also getting more context aware. I think from a context awareness standpoint, it is not yet there. It has a way of, because think about it, it's like, you need to feed it information kind of like a child at this point, and over a period of time it's going to grow, but it needs time. And I think that's where it is shaping into. At this point in time, one of the very common problems that you can solve is around automation on certain aspects and certain niche problems on the customer experience or customer success. Like for example, you have a lot of service volumes tickets, for example. How do you kind of automate some of that from an NLP standpoint? How can conversational AI play a game in there using LLM models? This is something Gen AI is solving for in some pockets. In terms of automation, it's also helping you generate a lot of contextual information that you feed it into in terms of structured format. For example, if an analyst, for example, has been asked a question, it takes an analyst, let's say maybe a day versus a week for certain insights, right? And multiply that by 10 if 10 people reach out to him at the same time. Now, versus if I give a sort of an agentic framework where Gen AI is sitting on top of it, I can feed it all the context. I can do the L1, L2 analysis via there, and I can democratize that layer, which means I can make my analyst much more efficient and leverage some of that time into something more impactful which the analyst can really work on and identify opportunities. That's where it is bringing efficiency in terms of automation, all of these things.
Okay. Do you think Gen AI is a boon or a threat? Of course, it's a boon. So like, there are two sides of a coin. So there are merits also, there are demerits also. So what do you think are the demerits?
See, so the way I would answer it is, if Gen AI in itself is not a threat. Someone who's not using Gen AI is threatening themselves, because I think it's a combination of man and machine at this point in time. You need that combination of human AI to become much more efficient. It's in fact going to benefit people much more. I don't think we'll lose jobs because of it. I think we will be ourselves much more efficient. We will be much more capable or aware to do a lot more things in that existing same job. It depends on how you do it. See, the whole question about, hey, is it a threat? There are still differing schools of opinion there. Where I feel, at least my personal opinion is, Gen AI is definitely, if used in the right context, a boon. But if you don't leverage it or you don't understand its powers or limitations, right, then obviously you're threatening yourself by harping on it. I think it has to be a calculated call at this point. Again, having said that, it's an evolving space. We're still vetting it out, too early to call out anything. But so far, basis what we have seen, I think it's an enabler. That is my take.
Okay. Any suggestions or the recommendations for the youth which are coming in this field?
See, primarily, firstly, I would say youth needs to be a lot more aware about what their surroundings are. Obviously, data is everywhere. So I think you need to be aware of data, not just as, being in the data field, but just around your environment. There are a lot of problems that traditional data scientists or traditional analysts cannot solve. As the general youth, Gen AI and AI are going to make you a lot of these enabled, right? These things. For example, I'll give a very classic example. We had phones like Nokia phones earlier. Now we have smartphones. As smartphones got adopted, and they got adopted sooner, the young Gen Z or the Alpha at this point in time are the ones who are leveraging it quite beautifully, right? You have influencers, you have digital influencers. Now people are making it all more aware. What is that? That is context aware. You're feeding it and you're leveraging such a system for that. I think our youth also has to understand what are the powers that an AI can bring, because it will become a normal way of life down the lane. You identify what problems you want to solve around it, and ideally I would want people, or especially the youth, to think about environment, right? Sustainability. How can you change what you can control one thing at a time? Think about those problems. Don't think about traditional problems, but think about also something that can impact 1,000 lives. Take that as a problem statement, and I think rest everything you will figure out on your way.
Everything will fall into pieces. Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
It was a pleasure having you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.